I'm Gerald. This is
Leo.
And together we got 30 years in the game of dog. We're not going to talk about what kind of treats we use. We're not going to talk about how we give our dogs baths. How do we clean the anal glands? We're not doing that here. We're talking about stuff to help improve this breed so this dog can be a better extension of your family. Today, our topic, and I spoke about this before, and it is always brought up, they want to know about the health test. For many years, I used a company called VetGen, no longer in business, but now we use Embark. And Embark does an array of tests along with those 3 or 4 items that you guys be inquiring about. But today, we're going to focus on 3 to 4 of these genetic mutated or inherited diseases. Disclaimer, we're not a vet. We don't pretend to be one. This is based off of our knowledge and experience of this breed. Number one of the copies or the genetic traits that these testing companies test for that can be passed down from generation to generation, depending on the severity or not, right?
They can be developed as well.
Or spontaneous mutation.
That's right.
Right. That's the key word, spontaneous mutation. One of the first ones I want to talk about, and I'm going to interview Leo from Balkan, the king of Balkan, and we're going to talk about DM. And to me, DM and the correct wording of this particular genetic disease is called degenerative myopathy. When I research, it's almost similar as to wobbler,
It's almost,
but it has more of the issues. It talks about the deterioration of the spinal cord, the failure of muscle control, and the muscular system. So can we talk about that a little bit more?
So pretty much those are the diseases where you see a dog is doing fine and then all of a sudden the legs are giving up, the muscles are shrinking, the spine, something is wrong with the spine. The dogs walk and then all of a sudden start dragging his feet down. Like
his gait is different.
Like they're giving up. Well, they have done a lot of studies on this thing, and then first they were saying it's a pinching nerve in between the spine, between the spine cords and stuff. They said it's pinching a nerve, it's hurting them, that's why they're giving out. Then they said no, it's shrinking the muscles and stuff in between them. And to be honest, they can tell us what it is, but for some reason they don't have the cure. They don't know how to fix it. They try to fix it.
Maybe they don't want the cure because it's the vets, the politics involved. Like there's a cure for, I believe there's a cure for AIDS.
Well,
right? But the guy, Dr. Sebi, it was killed or poisoned.
Well, the same thing. Dogs are no different than humans.
Pharmaceutical sales controls this world, man.
Dogs are no different than the humans, and I'm going to say
they're just more expensive.
A lot more expensive. People are afraid to go to the vet right now. I mean, you walk in a vet with a regular cold, with a kennel cough, and you will walk out literally with $2,500 of a ticket.
Oh, easily.
You know, and that's just the start. And then they're gonna tell you, oh, now this is wrong, that wrong. This look worse than a mechanic. You're taking your car, and then your tires are not good, your wheels is not good, your engine is not good. That's exactly what they do, and then that creates a panic in people.
Yeah.
And once you create a panic in people and stuff, that's all you think about. That's all you focus. That's exactly what's about to happen to the dog.
If you're speaking into existence.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Yep. That's the number one. By that being said, I want to be very particular. If you can make your dog sick, if you can make yourself sick, like I don't know if you guys, maybe I'll sound crazy right now for some people. If you can make your dog sick, you can cure your dog as well. You can reverse that. The only thing you have to do, just stop giving the power to that thing. On DCM, on all that stuff, we are on our own right now. They have not created a single cure for DCM, for von Willbrand, for any of those diseases.
And you know what's funny is that when I go to these plain yogurt, granola eating veterinarian clinics that are not specialists in breeding or reproduction, the first thing they want to do, hey, you need to neuter your dog. It'll cause them cancer. Well, you know what? I got balls, and I guess let me neuter myself too.
No, that's what I say. I tell people
they are anti-breeding. But my question is, if we eliminate breeding purebreds, then the dog itself will be extinct.
First, the balls and the testosterone was given by God or by Creator to the dogs and to all the living beings. Now, why would you cut that? If they want to cut it, they can cut themselves up. If they don't want to breed, then don't breed.
So basically what we're trying to say in regards to that particular disease, is that, you know, all you can do is do the proper testing, do the right monitoring, and if you breed to another male or a female, just make sure that they're the opposite of the positive results that you got on your dog. Nothing's never guaranteed, nothing's never promised. 5 years later, he can be tested again, and it may show up. Even people who are not an avid Doberman lover, they always seem to say, hey, what about DCM? What about DCM1, DCM2, DCM3? Oh my God, DCM4 is now happening.
It's a cardiovascular disease. Yeah, it attacks the heart.
DCM stands for dilated cardiomyopathy. The 1 and the 2 is all about how many copies the dog has in his system.
That's right.
Now, what's crazy, before we get into the whole aspect of it, they're coming out with a DCM3. And now they're testing for a DCM4. So my thing is that I believe the Vets Association for Anti-Breeding, the chemists, the testers, everybody involved, it's a money grab to add another $75 to $100 to test for. Oh yeah, you got 1 copy of DCM4. Well, my dog will probably get killed by hit by a car before he dies. DCM4, 1 copy.
What they're trying to add is a fear to these people. That's what they're doing.
What are some of the preventative measures, if any, in regards to if we got a dog?
Trying to prevent it.
You can't prevent it.
No.
And this is one that I know of, 1 and 2, they're spontaneous. Yeah. They can show up
anytime.
3-4 years later.
And I would
do a little, oh my God, let me test my dog.
I'll explain. I'll explain about that too as well. Number 1 cause for deaths in humans and living beings, and it's number 2 cause of death of living beings and humans as well. The first one is the food intake you put in your body. That's very important because there's all kinds of stuff, and it looks like everything that is made on the market is trying to poison us.
If he eat kibble, he gonna be kibble.
Like kibble, that's right. And the second one is the depression, Gerald. Now, I always like to reverse that. I always said the depression is number 1, and I will explain why. Because the depression is when you give up. When you give up of whatever you have in you, then you're done. Same thing with the dogs. When the dogs are giving up and he knows that he can't fight, the owner is not fighting, it's done. It's a done deal right there. So if you're alpha in your house and the dog always follows your energy, that means when you're sad, the dog is sad. That means when you're happy, the dog is happy. That means when you're angry, the dog is angry. They feel everything. They don't speak. They don't have the other senses, but they have senses to feel and smell like nothing else. The emotions. That's the very important thing. If you're giving up on your dog, that means the dog is giving up too as well. They'll call on the phone. It's like, my dog is done. It was born with DCM. We already know. And then, but let me tell. And then what happened is
the dog lived 2 years.
Yeah, I know. And the dog ended up. But what I trying to explain to them, I was like, you already listing your dog to die. You're already before even the battle is started. You're already afraid of that. See what I'm saying? This is where you messed up right there. I'm gonna tell you this
world, my God. You know what I'm saying? In a perfect world.
That's right.
So my thing is that when it comes to the DCM, I'm a little bit sensitive because one of our first or second podcasts we did, we talked about it, about the breeder named Daryl, how this lawyer had bought a dog from a friend of mine, right? Brody was the sire, and the mother was a daughter of Alonzo. Okay. Very good combination. And Daryl Young went back and told the guy, the father dog has AIDS or whatever, right? Yeah. And so the lawyer guy came back to Laddie house and gave the dog back, and he said, I don't want a refund, keep the dog. So the guy left the dog on the porch.
Thank you. Perfect example.
Because he was brainwashed by a guy who he has barely a high school education, right? And he went off of what this guy said. And the same guy that I'm telling you about, this is the guy, dog, who died from an enlarged heart issue from DCM, and he had bought a dog from that guy who was a sire. And this is then the
That's
same.
how it goes in circles.
Yes, and then the same guy, Daryl, had bred his dog to another female. They had a litter. This lady had a litter by some other dog, but that dog was the offspring of General Mathis. General, that dog died giving birth.
Self-explanatory, man.
So I'm just saying, it's like you speak it to existence. It's going to happen.
You're going to kill your dog. If you speak into existence about, you can do the same thing about themselves. Like if I speak about myself that I'm gonna die, that this is that something is wrong all the time, whining and complaining and stuff, that's exactly what's gonna happen. You don't think that the dogs are they're no different than us. 100%. I can't stress enough to tell people about this thing.
Gang, man. Like I was telling you, like another situation where this is a positive situation, not negative, but hopeful. This guy had just got his brevet on one of the dogs that were sired by my previous dog, Sigmund. I don't know the health test of the female, the mother, but Sigmund was clear at the time for everything. But this guy had an offspring. He put a brevet on him. And he said the dog was walking funny or something, some kind of symptoms. So he took him to the vet. The vet took him to a cardiologist specialist. I don't know the proper name for the type of vet that studies the heart, but it's not the same vet. It's somebody who else breaks it down somewhere in Lawndale, right? And the guy came back and said, yeah, he has DCM 1 or something like that. And he was all sad. I said, man, listen, live the dog's life. When he died, Jesus is going to take him. All dogs go to heaven, right? So I was like, nothing's going to be perfect and nothing be guaranteed. But the moral of this particular disease is it can be spontaneous. The number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4 DCM mean that those are copies. You can have DCM 1 copy, 2 copies of DCM 1, or you can have 1 copy of DCM 3 and 1 copy of, and 2 copies of DCM, whatever the combination. Roll a dice, I don't know.
No, the thing is the 2 copies. I'm gonna speak about what the old school stuff. I don't know about these 3 copies. They probably do have.
It's just not coming out.
Not coming out. It's probably and it's gonna be probably more coming out. Depression will kill anything. So if your dog is you can tell when your dog is depressed, and usually is depressed when you're depressed. You know. So. By that being said, either you trying to fix yourself and trying to turn the situation out and then trying to fix your dog, that's the only way you're going to fix. That's the only way I know how to fix this, you know, because I can tell you, I have dogs with DCM. We've been having dogs with DCM. We have had dogs with DCM. My dogs don't die. See what I'm saying? A lot of people will talk stuff about, will say Del Nazi, Fedor had DCM and all that stuff. Let me tell you something.
But they're buying dogs because they look like
they like them with the look.
So you love us and you hate us.
But it's no win. You can't win it. And another thing I want to say, Gerald, and point out in this one, people probably don't know, but DCM is actually finding humans. DCM is nothing else but an enlarged heart. Like your heart is enlarged, and it cannot the blood cannot flow correctly, and then it creates some clots, or and then the dog dies. Same thing that happens with the humans. DCM was fine. That's how they find it. And the same thing with the humans. They can't actually find a cure for any of that. I don't know if they don't want to find a cure. I don't know. And to be honest, I think they're creating it in us. By fear, by food, by chemicals, by all kinds of stuff. And I will tell you that my dogs are living in my house. You know what I mean? I have 7, 8, 9, 14. We got 14 years old dogs with DCM. They're living. And then you have dogs clear that all of a sudden, in 2 years old, they dropping dead. When you get a Doberman, this is a lifetime commitment, man. You can't have, just because you want to be cool, you want to get a Doberman or any dog. I'm talking, this is the same thing with a Frenchies, any large breeder. They all have DCM.
Gang.
And it's all the same thing. It's a heart disease, back disease, leg disease, and they're all the same thing.
Listen, I've been importing dogs for 15 years, and I am lucky if after doing testing, they have no copies at that time. Lucky. And I'm transparent with my dogs. If you want to breed with my dogs, fine. Go to somebody else. But I guarantee you one thing, my dog's going to have the genetic makeup to work. There's no perfect animal. There's no perfect person. And there's no perfect scenario. So another thing we're going to talk about now, which is the VWD. VWD acronym stands for what?
Von Willbrand, I want to explain it again because people will not. They want to hear some name, von Willbrand disease. They're going to hear, it's a German. They don't understand. And most of them do not understand what it is. It's a blood thinning. Your blood is so thin that your dog can bleed out. It can bleed out inside. It can bleed out on outside. Either you cut them outside or something happened inside. They got the organs. The blood goes through the organs and stuff, and then they don't stop. The blood just keeps on flowing, so they bleed out.
Now, the one thing that's synonymous with this disease, among the other ones that I can speak on, is that Whatever the dog is born with or not born with, it stays the same. If the dog is clear of von Willbrand, it won't develop into it won't develop to a carrier or an affected. There's two differences. You got
stay consistent. That's right.
Stay consistent. So if your dog is born a carrier, he will not develop into an affected.
But they do have two copies. You can be a carrier and you can be affected.
Correct. But if your dog is born clear, he will stay clear. Now, there's a difference between VWD carrier and VWD affected. Now, in the best case scenario, you want your dog to be clear. And like I say, people, I use Embark for all my testing. Who do you use for testing anyway?
I Embark. VetGen.
VetGen. But now they're out of business. Really good people.
You can use UC Davis. I mean, you can use all. There's a couple of them on there that you can use.
Your best case scenario is it is born clear. But if it's born a carrier, and you still want to breed at some particular point, you want to make sure you breed with a clear.
That's right.
Right, because an affected dog at any given time
will transfer that.
Will transfer that. But two carriers can make an affected.
That's right.
A carrier and a non-carrier can only produce a carrier at best. It's a percentage game. So if you got a dog, he's a carrier, just make sure you breed to a clear. I haven't had a situation where a dog did internal bleeding, nor have I had dogs that were affected.
Well, I can usually tell by how, if they would have it or not, if when you cut the ears. Like you cut the ears, your tail, usually the blood should stop right away, or you know, but sometimes it doesn't. It just keep on bleeding, you know. There's no cure for this one either, but there's no cure for almost anything in this. They don't want to give us a cure. They want treatments, so they can. Oh, even the treatments though. Even the treatments, they don't help. Dude, I know people. It's like for DCM, they get treatments. Oh, we gave them the vet gave them some treatment, and we made it another 6 months. I guarantee you, if you didn't give them that treatment and you just focus on your energy and you love your dog and you accept and with your energy, what you did and you're fighting for that dog, your dog would have made it more than 6 months. I guarantee you 100% on that.
You're coming out with a particular supplement for the health of the dog. Can you expound on that and be a little bit loquacious about it?
That's right. See, I am big believer about the diet. The dietary about the dog, like what we put in these dogs, you know. I have walked in a veterinarian stations and stuff, and the vet tells me right off the bat that dog's not gonna make in three days from now. I see, my attitude is watch me, you know. This is my attitude. You not gonna tell. There's no way. I'm here to give me an X-ray. You just tell me what's inside, and then you watch me what I do after that. Because I do not believe, Gerald, people are paying tens of thousands of dollars for these dogs.
You hear what he said? People are paying tens of thousands
of dollars.
Tens of thousands.
That's not the same thing in the Balkan and stuff. We're a little bit cheaper in the Balkan.
Tens of thousands.
Thousands. I believe that this supplement will help with the biggest causes with the heart. Like I said, heart issues. Also von Willbrand. It will help the skin, because you know Dobies have a lot of problems with the skin in general.
Especially the ones that are like the chocolate red ones.
You will get, yes. You see, that's a diluted. It's because the first color of the Dobies was black. It wasn't brown. So they didn't make black, brown, and then from brown they start going down like all these blue and stuff.
Blue, Isabella,
right. Isabella,
and Fawn, white, and then pearly white.
It's a disaster. The issue
it's
a disaster with the coat. If you start having problems with the issue with the coat or issues with the coat, God can help you right
That leads to a better topic. Why do the Europeans not promote or show or let live the recessive gene dogs? Like if a blue came out or a fawn came out, what does that cause from, and why they don't believe in selling off-colored dogs as far as the breed Doberman?
Because they have health issues, you know, and for some reason hey, you know what the Sparta in Greece, the Spartans, what they do? No, they see the child is weak and stuff. They discard the child. You know what they do? That's how they do. That was a tough, and it was like a tradition. You know, they see a weak child and stuff. Either you fight or you don't fight. Weak ones go Sparta. Even the weak ones go away. They cut them off, you know, and the strong ones always survive. Well, that was kind of the same tradition what they did, and it's still there, you know.
Over here in America, they embrace diversity in every aspect, whether it's politics, whether it's race, whether it's religion, sexual orientation, and even the Doberman breed, where they say, okay, the colors. Now, I have a friend that I spoke of he has a white Dobie, he knows, inherently he knows of the skin issues. He knows of the blindness genetic traits are born.
And he's still doing it?
And he knows of the photosynthesis issues. And a lot of these off-colored dogs have nerve issues, not nerves as far as literally, but figuratively where they're skittish, right? And he loves making a dog that, in so many words, not have a chance to make them have a chance.
Okay, I see.
And so he thrives and believes in being different, and that's his lane.
And, you know, and you could do
that's
that.
his lane.
It's you beliefs. I believe that what you believe and what you think about on a daily basis, that's what this. That's
By the
what
way, he's a good friend of mine. I want to give a shout out to Laddie Cooper.
Oh, Laddie. Yeah. Just think about yourself. You didn't know when your mom didn't know if you're gonna come up with if you're gonna have diseases or not. But
yeah, your mom didn't know that when you were born that you're gonna be short.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Or you're gonna be tall and stuff.
Right.
You just didn't know.
Or have his ear tattooed. They didn't know you're gonna be born that way.
Now you just don't know about those things. But you know what? You don't cry about those things. You
don't cry for Argentina.
Yeah. You don't cry about those. You don't cry about it. Just embrace it, man. Or ignore it. What I do, I ignore it, man. I really ignore it, and it works for me. So now they can talk about, hey, I don't lose dogs. I'm gonna tell you why I say. I'm telling you how I'm doing it, Gerald. I'm not a doctor. See what I'm saying? But I stay away from the veterinarians as much as possible. Like,
we're here for entertainment and information purposes only. Now, I think me and you have the most experience in this breed, especially west of the Mississippi. If you're gonna come for us, we're gonna come for you, but we're gonna fight you with our minds, okay? Because what we don't know, we're eager to learn.
We'll fight you with experience, what we know and what we believe. See what I mean? And it's very simple, Gerald. I mean, if this is not what I'm talking about here is very simple.
Yeah.
Dog follows your energy. If you're giving up on him, the dog will give up before you even start giving up. Trust me, they feel everything. If you take that dog as a family member, you love that dog as much as you love yourself, you will see that dog is going to make it through war, through anything. What I'm trying to say is you are the pill for these dogs. Not the vet, not the chemist, not the pharma, not the matrix, whatever you want to call it, not anybody but you, because they follow what you do. They follow how you feel, what you feel, everything. They know everything.
And the most important thing, people, before we conclude, you want these dogs to be the best dog they can be. You want them to be an extension of your family. I'm sure you got brothers and sisters, or your mother or father. Somebody has an ailment. Are you going to discard the person, or discredit the person, or have nothing to do with the person because they have an ailment, or because they have their diabetes now, or because they had a stroke? Hell no, you're going to rally around that particular individual and make them better than it was before.
Do not worry about as soon as you see DCM or any Von Willbrand, do not call me crying and stuff and trying to be, because I can tell you're scared. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid of this thing. Don't go running to the vet, because vet is going to find you, besides that disease, you're going to find another 10 of them. And then you're going to be paying like $5,000, $6,000 or $10,000.
And then they're going to come to you for a refund.
For a refund. And don't get me for a refund.
If your dog has one copy,
all you can get from me is the knowledge.
If your dog has one copy of DCM1 or one copy of DCM2, or your dog is a VWD carrier only, I'd take them for free. I ain't paying you, but I take them. I got use for them.
Yeah,
bring them here.
They're giving up. The thing is, they're giving up on their dogs.
They're giving up on the totality of the dog.
Right away. I showed you that picture the other day. The lady is like 6 months boy is 6 months, got diagnosed with DCM, got the DNA came back positive on DCM. She's posting up broken hearts pictures on the social media.
And in 12 years, the dog gonna give her 12 years of his life.
I talk to my dogs. When I have a DCM dog, I'm looking at them. You're lying. You're lying. They are lions. They're DCM and they're fighting and stuff, and they're making it. And let me tell you something. They're making it more than some dogs that they're living 2 years old, 2 years young. They're dying, dropping dead from DCM. Showed up suddenly. They didn't know the dog was clear. Then all of a sudden the dog dropped dead from the heart attack. You know.
Well, at the end, I want to say, we're going to make this show very entertaining, but at the same time authentic. So until next time, this is for my homies.
For the loved ones, from the cup. We don't.
Cheers. From the land of Bulking.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of the diseases, okay? Do not be afraid. That's my, please do not. You know, it's just stay positive, okay? We all lose loved ones.